From whichever part of the globe you're watching us, welcome to the conversation. This is Richard Mwenja Exclusive, your go-to point on matters political and governance analysis. I'm Richard Mwenja, and straight to it, let me introduce the gentleman who will help me bring the day's conversation home is none other than this firebrand, Kenya's most sought-after political analyst, Professor Herman Manyora. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing very well.
You're well?
Oh, extremely well.
Especially at a time when your friend, extended friend, I should say, political communications consultant and blogger, Maverick Aoko, is in the hands of DCI sleuths. Many people come into her defense, Miguna, Babu Owino, but you're missing in the picture.
I have. Check on the tweet. I've tweeted.
Really?
Yeah.
But would you say that this
I've been away and busy, but now that I'm around, I have to call out the police and the government. Well, why I did this? I'm telling them, at some point, people are talking ill of Mugabe, and they try to lock them in. He realized the futility of the whole thing, and so Aoko should be set free.
But this is a trend that we've been seeing gaining traction in the recent days. Deliberate attempt to suppress the alternative voice of the Gen Z.
It doesn't work. It makes things work. So unless you are going to silence Marvelin Aoko in a way we can't mention on the show, she'll be back and she'll be worse. She'll be more serious. She'll be dynamite.
She can come out bigger and better?
Oh, atawalipua sana. Let me teach these people. As a communication person.
Sure.
In public space, especially in media, you do yourself good and a lot of service to ignore things. If somebody went to a public platform or in media and said you did this or this and this, if you said nothing, it will die immediately.
Natural death.
Yes. So what the things Aoko is saying only reach a certain audience. If you put her in, you expand her audience.
By fighting her, you're creating...
Yes, you expand her audience. So far, not many people really listen to what Aoko is saying. There are just people on Twitter and a few, you know. But now you put her in, you expand her. But it also shows how intolerant we are as people.
It is not sustainable.
By tolerating Aoko, you are describing your level of tolerance as a country. You are telling people, all and sundry, Kenyans and foreigners, if you want freedom, come to Kenya. Just come to Kenya. Look at what Aoko is doing, and nobody's bothered about her.
That is the bigger picture?
Yes. You leave her alone. Leave her alone. It's nothing.
And even this guy...
I hope somebody is hearing me. Leave such a people alone.
Now Morara Kebaso is exposing what he terms
lies. Leave them alone. Let them do it.
President launching and relaunching.
Soon what this guy is doing will simply be entertainment.
Natural death.
Yeah, and it will just be entertainment. But if the president tries to stop that guy, it's called who?
Morara Kebaso.
Yes, sir. It will now take on a life of its own, and he will not stop it. But if you leave that man move from place, I saw his Eldoret airstrip, people Kinasji who have planted maize there, beans, it will just move into the entertainment space, where it is safe.
There's a quote that believes DCA is now becoming petty. That is what they say, being petty. Instead of focusing on bigger challenges the country is facing. Do you support that conversation?
They are also thinking they can distract people from what's going on. You would not do that. It's not working. Looking at, then people will die in a cell. You get somebody like Manyora, for example. Sisi ni wadhet tunaishi kwa madawa. You lock me there, then I die there. Not that I fear death myself. And I'm not even saying I'm important, but when people die in cells, you create something bad for yourself. Some of these policemen can be overzealous. They can mishandle these people you are arresting. Somebody can come from there limping. Somebody can die from there. And I think people also, those things are happening. An abduction can lead to death. So why would the government spoil his name? And yet there's nothing they are gaining from these abductions.
Actually,
first of all, you are not going to cow people because you have abducted people. You are not going to silence people because you have killed people. We are past that stage. You kill 1, 2, 3, but the people just move on. So if it's not serving any purpose, why are you doing it? Arresting Aoko does not serve any purpose. Abducting any Kenyan does not serve any purpose. Killing a Kenyan does not serve any purpose. The days when these things were frightening Kenyans are long gone. In the 1970s and 60s, during Kenyatta time, in the 1980s, during Moi's time, If you did something, even your own parents will call you and wewe kijana wacha mchezo. Utatuletea mambo hapa. Even your friends will tell you, no, Havana. Hii Havana wewe. But now these things mean nothing to people. So they serve no purpose.
This far, I mean, the cases have been out there whereby the DCA take you in, or the police, and then even your basic human rights are sort of denied, infringement of basic human rights, access to medication, as you've said. Yes. It has been reported, even some of the Gen Z who were put to police cells the other day. In the face of the international community, what taste are we leaving in their mouth when it comes to human rights?
That's where government is getting it wrong. Leaders of these developed economies, America and the rest, which give us aid, are under watch and scrutiny by the citizens of those countries. The buzzline is this: we cannot give you our taxes to go and support countries that are low on human rights, that suppress its citizens. If Kenya is suppressing dissent, if Kenya is abducting its citizens, if Kenya is jailing people like Aoko for nothing, if Kenya is killing, torturing people, we cannot give you as the American government our money to support Kenya. In the Western world, that's a very strong thing. So when you see, like in the recent past, Secretary of State Blinken talking to Ruto about demonstrations and how not to suppress people violently, then you saw that person who came here, what was her name? Some lady came here, come to talk. And her docket is human rights, where human things like that, protection of citizen rights in America. She's coming here. She's going all the way up to DCI. They are trying to appease the voter in that country, the taxpayer, because taxpayers in the Western world will come very hard on you as a government if you are using their money to support oppressive regimes.
Now, this is why we've seen our health sector being pumped oxygen more from donor support outside there. Yes. So if this infringement of human rights continues, we're going to see that decline even in donor support.
Yes. And not because they hate you, because they have their citizens to think about. The citizens of those countries will not be happy when you abduct, torture, kill, maim, detain people because of their expression. Because if you get somebody like Marvelin Aoko, people, whatever she has done will not matter. And I don't know what she has done. I even don't know whether they have anything against her. But what I know is what everybody will know. That she's being haunted and haunted, whatever it is. She's being hunted and haunted. Because of the things she says. Even if you had any other reason, nobody will look at that. So if this issue is being, people are engaging on this issue in even other countries, they are not seeing what Aoko has done, if there's anything she has done. They are just saying, because she says these kind of things. I advise this country, we need to develop the equivalent of Hyde Park in the UK, in London. A place where all mad people go and shout what they want to shout. Go and say everything you want to say about Ruto. Say anything you want about Raila. Go and shout there. So if people are using Twitter to say these things, do these people read Twitter and other social media to see what people elsewhere are talking about governments and about leaders?
They go bare knuckles?
That is the Kenya we are in. That's the world in which we live today. You will not stop it. There are platforms, as the Gen Zs showed us during the demos. There are platforms beyond Kenya. Even if you close Twitter, there are other platforms you can't close. There are other things these young people will create. The best way is let them have a field day. Wacha waseme. Kama uko na skeleton zako, shauri yako. Zitaanikwa, wacha zianikwe. We all have our skeletons. Sasa, where we have reached as people in this country is to pray, one, that you don't have skeletons. And you don't engage in activities that will create skeletons. But if you already have them, just pray that people like Aoko and Cyprian Nyakun do not get to know what you have done. So the moment unajua ole wako, you won't stop it. Wataanika tu. Sema huyu mtu mnamuona hapa, ili libaba linajibe, ili shenzi kabisa ili baba. And they will expose you. So that's where we have reached. And you cannot stop it.
And now that the government is trying so hard to keep its reputation in place, would you then say for any president, they could go the other round of getting guns for hire or even buying out these bloggers? We've seen people complain. Gabriel Oguda Buddha is now in government. There's no one to oversight the government.
If you want, you can counter using the same platform. If you want. But my advice to you, ignore. Media. Kama mtu anakuingilia kwa media, the best advice, ignore. It works miracles. I've told you this man you are calling Kebaso. What do you call him?
Morara Kebaso.
Kebaso. Moving around with things that Ruto is launching. If Ruto does not talk, if this year do not go for that boy, it will become entertainment. And if it's entertainment, hata wewe utakuwa entertained. Hata huyo Ruto atakuwa entertained. But try to suppress it.
Do you think that's what has created the people like Gabriel Oguda? Government trying to fight them?
Don't fight people in the media. You create them. They become larger than life, larger than size. So ignore them. Ignore them. Because there will be people like those, whether you like it or not. There will be people who have no boundaries between the public space and private space. They look at somebody's family and say, huyu mtoto si wa fulani. Alizaliwa. You know, the problem with Kenyans, they don't like to know what's going elsewhere. There are tabloids in the UK, newspapers, and other publications, whose work is just gossip.
Paparazzi?
Hakuna kitu ingine.
And it's allowed by law.
Yeah, but you people ignore, you can't. Paparazzi. Unaenda kwa kamera, kakakakak, uko kwa BNB.
Jadil has got another girlfriend already in the media.
That's their work. And that's how they get their money. They sell. So we are not even there. And these guys are beginning to abduct and to arrest Aoko. Now we are not even, what Aoko has done is nothing. Americans say, you ain't seen nothing yet. If you are worried about what Kebaso man, what do you call it?
Morara
Kebaso. Or Aoko Mavelik. Or Cyprian Nyakundi. If you are worried about what they are doing in Ali, you ain't seen nothing yet. That's the next frontier. That's how people are going to be making their money. Some even through extortion. Wanakuambia unaona hii. Tutoe ama. You get it?
Blackmail, eh?
That is actually the space that is yet to be occupied. The Nairobian was the first publication, a serious newspaper. Is it weekly or whatever it is?
Yeah, it was a weekly.
To try and go that direction of the tabloids in the UK and elsewhere. And you can see even the current heading. You can see it. I slept with. You know, you can't even. If you complete, you'll be abducted. So it has not even scratched the surface. I can assure you. As mainstream media is collapsing in Kenya, you know, mainstream media is barely surviving. Both the print and electronic, radio, TV, and newspaper, they are barely surviving. And a lot of them are going to fall down. We know those that are almost, they are just dead.
Sure.
They have sacked almost everybody. You know that, eh?
Yeah, pending layoffs and all.
And this is how the world works. As they go down, what is going to emerge is a social media phenomenon. And I want to advise people in government, you ain't seen nothing yet. Because that's a space people are going to occupy. Because there's thirst for news. And the mainstream media is not giving the news. It is surviving economically, financially, they are barely surviving. And in order to survive, to mitigate that, you have noticed of late, mainstream media has gone to bed with the government. What they are now creating is a vacuum that's going to be filled by social media. And social media will not only fill this space effectively, they will also harass us with our skeletons.
They'll be put to the public gallery. Very lastly, and now that we are seeing there are Kenyans who seemingly are patriots at heart, and they really want to call out the mess in the government, how then do we, as civil society and other non-state actors, build these whistleblowing mechanisms and making sure that they are not put into cowardice by threats?
You won't stop them. You won't stop them. But people are also realizing, you work in an organization. People are stealing there, a public enterprise. People are stealing and you are keeping quiet. 5 years down the line, it may collapse, umeenda nyumbani huna kazi. So people are also realizing that when you see wadosi wanaiba kwa kampuni, sana sana kampuni ya serikali, na nyinyi mnanyamaza. 3 years ago, the man has 2,000 acres in Kitale, has a home in South Coast and North Coast. Nyali, he has another home. He has a helicopter. His children are, na wewe uko nyumbani huna kazi. So people are increasingly going to come out in the open and expose these people who are stealing, because that's how they will survive. I've given an example of a cement company, where people who are watching, because you cannot pass with cement because it passes the weighbridge, and you know it has not been paid for. Now the people can't take their children to school because they have been sacked. There's no job. So this is not something you'll stop. It is self-sustaining. That people realize, if we want to save our jobs, if we want to save our country, then we must expose the thieves. And social media is the platform that quickly, you can't deal with social media the way you deal with mainstream. Mainstream media unaita tu mwenye media.
The top editor there.
Kata
story.
Killing stories has been a way of life in the media. You can't kill Cyprian.
Brown envelope journalism is still there?
Of course, it's there. But now this social media, you get the main one. Na tule upcoming one wanarusha.
Unawapea kitu kwa mdomo wananyamaza?
Huyu akinyamaza, huyu anarusha. You find it a useless game. You can't win. Because you get the tier 1 bloggers. You get them and bribe them if you can. They keep quiet. The story goes to tier 1, tier 2 bloggers. You look for them. You silence them. It goes down to the useless ones now. There are too many. You can't even, by the time you know where they are, hata kujua huyu blogger ni nani huyu, by the time you get to know who they are, the story is circulating all over.
It is not sustainable.
So it's not sustainable.
So the country owes it to people like Cyprian Nyakundi.
Yes. I kept telling them, if Kenyans were serious people, even us what we do in media, they would be supporting us. I've said people like Cyprian Nyakundi, if it was in another place, people would really be supporting him, because he's our DCI now.
He wouldn't be living on handouts?
No, I'm not saying he lives on handouts. I don't even know him.
Course, he
I don't even know him. I don't know how he lives. But all I'm saying is, he'll be living very good life. He'll be having good support from Kenyans. But from my own experience, I know Kenyans don't support you.
There you have it. That point by Herman Manyora takes us to the wrap of today's
But even as we wrap, we must tell government, stop this nonsense. To begin with, they should not harass people like Aoko. With all their faults, don't harass them.
Don't harass people like Maverick Aoko. We've been talking matters to do with letting citizens amplify their voices on matters that they feel is of concern to the nation. And also just giving people personal space to express themselves, and many other things to do with political communications. There you have it. Until we meet next time on Richard Mwenja Exclusive, do enjoy the rest of your viewing.